Hey, what's up guys, it's DarkArmedDuelist and today doing an Evil Hero deck profile. So I'm really excited to do this for you guys because this deck is an insane deck that can summon out one of the most powerful fusion monsters ever created, Evil Hero Malicious Bane. This deck has some extremely spicy tech cards in it for you guys, so without further ado, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell on there so you can become part of the notification squad, and definitely check out the Patreon down in the description below for all those awesome rewards, like getting your name description in a single video, getting assigned cards in the mail, and even getting to request a deck profile every single month to your Patreon. So without further ado, let's get straight on into this. So first off, we're going to be playing 3 copies of Evil Hero, A Dusted Gold. A Dusted Gold is a great 3-of in the deck because it has the ability you can discard this card to add a Dark Fusion or one card that specifically lists Dark Fusion in its text from your deck to your hand, which is a great effect to be able to search Dark Fusion or even Dark Calling so we can go into some extremely powerful fusion monsters like Malicious Bane. And then play 2 copies of Evil Hero, Sinister Necrom. Sinister Necrom is a great card in this deck because it has the ability you can banish this card from your graveyard to special summon an evil hero monster from your hand or deck, which is a great effect to be able to use to special summon out your copy of Evil Hero Malicious Edge. Malicious Edge is a really good card in this deck because it has the ability it does piercing damage when it attacks an opponent's monster in defense position, which is a great effect just to do a little bit more damage. It also has 2600 attack points, so it is a really big beat stick in this deck, which is nice for this build. I then play a single copy of Elemental Hero Avian. Avian is a good 1-of in the deck to help us go for fusion plays. Same thing with our copy of Bursenatrix, which we also play as a 1-of in this build. These cards are in here so we can go into our copy of Inferno Wing, and it's just a really good card to be able to search off our Infernal Devicer in the extra deck. I then play 3 copies of Elemental Hero Stratos. Elemental Hero Stratos can search any hero monster on summon, which is a really good effect to be able to search out our copy of Dusted Gold, so we can then use that card to be able to discard to search out our Dark Calling or Dark Fusion, which is just really nice to be able to do in this deck. I then play 2 copies of Elemental Hero Shadow Mist. This card is a great 2-of in the deck to work with our copies of Vision Hero Vion, because if this card is sent to the graveyard, then you have the ability to search any hero monster that you want from your deck to your hand, which is a great effect to be able to use to search out your evil hero monsters. I then play a single copy of Elemental Hero Liquid Soldier. Liquid Soldier is a good 1-of in the deck that has a really good on summon effect that when you normal summon this card, you can target a level 4 lower hero monster in the graveyard, except another copy of this card, and special summon it, which can be any hero monster that you summon off this card. It also has the ability, if this card is used as a fusion material for a hero monster and sent to the graveyard or banished, you can draw 2 cards and then discard a card, which will help us dig into the deck for more combo pieces. I then play 3 copies of Vision Hero Ferris. Vision Hero Ferris is a great 3-of in the deck that has the ability you can discard one other hero monster to special summon this card from your hand, and if it's normal or special summon, you can place a Vision Hero monster from your deck, except another copy of itself, in your spell and trap card zone as a continuous trap card, which is a great effect to be able to put your copy of Vision Hero Increase in your back row. Vision Hero Increase is a great card to put in your back row because then you contribute your copy of Vision Hero Ferris to be able to special summon your Increase from your back row, which then its effect will let you special summon out a copy of Vision Hero Vion directly from the deck, giving you 2 hero monsters on your side of the field by just discarding a hero monster for Ferris's effect, which is why we play this engine in the deck. Vision Hero Vion is also really good because when it's summoned to your side of the field, it has the ability to send any hero monster that you want from your deck to the graveyard, like your copies of Shadow Mist, that will then get you a search and set up for your copy of Vision Hero Vion's other effect to banish a hero from the graveyard to search a copy of Polymerization, which will get you a fusion spell so you can go into some fusion plays. I then play 2 copies of Nibiru. Nibiru is just really good in the deck because it helps you go into your copy of Dark Gaia, and this card can be a really insane hand trap to be able to use against the opponent if they summon 5 times and to break their board. I then play 2 really insane tech cards that we're actually going to play Guess That Card with. So this is a really interesting tech card in this build for you guys that helps us fusion summon into a really powerful boss monster in the extract while also getting rid of some really powerful monsters that our opponent might have on their field. This card is a really good 2-of in the deck and an absolutely insane tech card that I'm going to reveal in 3, 2, 1, and definitely comment down below what you think this tech card is, and don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and hit that bell down there so you can become part of notification squad. So let's see what that tech card is. So that tech card is, and let's see if you got it right, it is 2 copies of Santa Claus. And yes, I bet you guys didn't get that. This card is really insane in the deck because this card is actually a kaiju, if you guys did not know. It has the ability that you can special summon this card from your hand to your opponent's side of the field in defense position by attributing one monster that they control. If summoned this way, during the end phase of this turn, you draw a card, which is a really neat effect because you can actually super poly away this card, or if it's destroyed, use Dark Calling plus your copy of Malicious Edge to be able to summon out a really powerful boss monster, Malicious Fiend, which is insane that you can actually use Santa Claus to summon out Malicious Fiend. This card is really insane because it takes a level 6 or higher Fiend type monster, which Santa Claus is, plus a evil hero, Malicious Edge. That is super cool that you can actually use Santa Claus to summon out that card. We then play 3 copies of Ash Blossom to round out the monster. This card is just a really good hand trap overall to stop the opponent from touching the deck. So that's it for the monsters, guys. Let's get into the spells. So for the spells, we're going to be playing some extremely powerful spell cards in the deck, and we're going to start off with a single copy of Rhoda. Rhoda is really good because it can search out a bunch of cards in the deck, but you cannot search any of your evil hero monsters with this card because they're all fiend monsters. But this card can search out cards like Stratos or Liquid Soldier directly from your deck to your hand. And then play a single copy of Supreme King's Castle. This card is just a really awesome field spell that has the ability you can fusion summon fusion monsters that must be special summoned with Dark Fusion with effects other than Dark Fusion. And then once per turn, during damage calculation, if your fiend monster battles an opponent's monster, you can send an evil hero monster from your deck or extra deck to the graveyard, and your monster gains attack equal to its level of the monster sent to the graveyard times 200, which you can send your copy of Sinister Necrom from deck to grave to set up its effect and be able to boost up one of your monsters by 1,000 attack points, which is really nice. I then play a single copy of Polymerization because it is searchable off of Vion, so I feel like one copy is totally fine in this deck. And then play a single copy of Miracle Fusion because it is searchable off Sunriser that we play in the extract, and this card lets us fusion summon an Elemental Hero Fusion monster by banishing materials from our side of the field or the graveyard, which is really nice to be able to use cards that we don't really need in the graveyard anymore to make a boss monster. And then play a single copy of Dark Fusion. Dark Fusion is a really powerful fusion spell that has the ability to fusion summon a Fiend Fusion monster from your extract using monsters from your hand or field as fusion materials, and your opponent cannot target it with card effects this turn, making your copy of Malicious Bane untargetable and not being able to be destroyed by card effects. It's just absolutely insane. This card is a really good one of in the deck. I then play 2 copies of Dark Calling. Dark Calling is a really good 2 of the deck because it's basically like Miracle Fusion for your evil heroes, which is absolutely insane in this deck because it has the ability to fusion summon a fusion monster from your extract that must be fusion summoned with Dark Fusion by banishing the fusion materials listed on it from your hand or graveyard, not the field, which is a really interesting effect that you actually have to use cards from your graveyard or your hand to be able to fusion summon. I then play 3 copies of Super Polymerization. This is a throwback to the Supreme King himself. This is just too cool not to play in this deck, and it's really good to break boards with this build, to be able to use Super Poly to get out some really powerful monsters, and it's one of the most powerful cards in today's meta because of your Garuga that you play in the extract. But this card is just absolutely insane that you can play this card in this deck as a 3 of, and it's a cool throwback to the Supreme King. I then play 3 copies of A Hero Lives. A Hero Lives is a really good card in the deck because by paying half your life points and not controlling a face-up monster, you can special summon out a level 4 or lower elemental hero monster directly from your deck, like a copy of Elemental Hero Stratos, which is really nice to instantly get out that monster from the deck and then search out an additional monster, essentially letting you special summon out the searcher directly from your deck. So that's it for the main deck, guys. Let's get into the extra deck. So for the extra deck, we're going to be playing 2 copies of Evil Hero Malicious Bane, one of my favorite boss monsters in the entire game. This card is so good because it just takes any evil hero monster plus a level 5 or higher monster to summon this card, and it must be special summoned with Dark Fusion, and it cannot be destroyed by battle or by card effects, which is absolutely insane. It's also a board wipe because during your main phase, you can destroy all monsters that your opponent controls with attack less than or equal to this card's, and also this card gains 200 attack for each monster destroyed this way, and also you cannot declare attacks for the rest of the turn except with hero monsters, which is really easy to do in this deck because that's all we're playing anyways. I then play a single copy of Inferno Wing. This card is just a really good nostalgic boss monster that you can make in the deck really easily with your copies of Burstinatrix and Avian. I then play a single copy of Elemental Hero Malicious Fiend. You make this card with Santa Claus, I know, kind of weird, and a copy of Malicious Edge. This card is really neat to be able to summon to your side of the field because you're usually going to use Dark Calling to banish your Santa Claus and Malicious Fiend from the graveyard to be able to summon out this card, or Malicious Edge, excuse me, to summon out Malicious Fiend, which this card is super easy to summon to your side of the field because it just takes those monsters plus Dark Calling to be able to make this card. So it's a very easy fusion monster to make during late game. I then play a single copy of Dark Gaia. Dark Gaia is really easy to make in this deck as well because it just takes a Nibiru plus a copy of an Evil Hero monster to make this card, which is really nice. I then play a single copy of Absolute Zero. Absolute Zero is really easy to summon with your copy of Miracle Fusion or Polymerization, and if it leaves the field, then it does blow board for your opponent, which is really nice. I then play a single copy of Great Tornado. Great Tornado is really nice as a super poly target to out your opponent's barrier statue if you're playing against Full Wander, because it does take a win monster plus any Elemental Hero monster to make this card. So this card is a really good one of in the extra deck. I then play a single copy of Elemental Hero The Shining. The Shining is really good as a super poly target as well. It's just an overall fantastic boss monster to summon that also gains 300 attack for each of your banished Elemental Hero monsters, so it can get quite big. I then play a single copy of a Skirdow. A Skirdow is a good monster to summon as well because it takes any Elemental Hero plus a Dark monster to summon to your field, and it gains 100 attack for each Elemental Hero monster in the graveyard. I then play a single copy of Sunriser. Sunriser is a really good card that you can summon to the field, and it searches out your copy of Miracle Fusion from the deck, which is absolutely insane, and it just can help you go in for some other really powerful monsters like your copy of Ab-Zero, Great Tornado, Shining, or even a Skirdow from the extra deck. For the super poly targets, I'm playing a single copy of Starving Venom to be able to use with dark monsters, one copy of Dragos Tapalia just in case we're playing up against a fusion deck, one copy of Garuga. Garuga is really good in the deck because if this card, or it just takes any two monsters with the same type and attribute with different names, so it's a lot of monsters you can actually use to fusion summon into this card, and it also has the ability, if this card is sent to the graveyard, you get to draw a card, so if your opponent outs it, you still get a +1, which is really nice. I then play a single copy of Dread Decimator just to make our copy of Malicious Bane even bigger in the deck, and one copy of Infernal Devicer, because Infernal Devicer can search out our copies of Burstinatrix and Avian directly from the deck. So that's it for the deck, guys. I hope you did enjoy it. It's a really fun deck to be able to play with. If you guys have never played with Evil Hero, I highly recommend it because this deck is absolutely insane. It's super fun to be able to summon out a copy of Elemental Hero Malicious Bane, and it's just a really nostalgic deck that you can summon out all sorts of really cool boss monsters. So anyways, guys, that's it for this one. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell there so you can become part of Notification Squad, and we'll see you guys in the next video. See you later, guys.